Protagonist Show. I'm Dan Vaughn, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Joshua Duder. How we doing, Josh?
Yo, that intro song hits so hard every time. I'm like, are they going to catch me nodding my head?
Hey, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can nod your head a little bit.
I love it.
We missed last week. My apologies for that, people. We're back this week, and we're catching up on some topics that may have been a little bit more pertinent last week, but we're going to give our take and expand on that. Yeah, who's complaining?
No better timing.
You know what? It gets done when it gets done, right? Love that. And with that, let's dig into this. It's the Protagonist Show, and we talk about all things soccer in the United States, whatever tickles our fancy. The U.S. Open Cup Round 2 results were all finalized last week. And yes, we should have gotten to that. I get it. But we're going to review those results, maybe talk a little bit about which matches stand out to us, and then look forward to Round 3, which is something, I'll be honest, had we recorded last week, we wouldn't have had that information.
Right, exactly. The timing couldn't be better. It's fine.
Couldn't have been better. There we go.
Right.
I like your thought process there. Let's get through those results. I'll read through my half. You read through yours. Columbus Crew 2-3, Lexington Soccer Club 0, or is that Sporting Club?
Sporting.
Yeah. Tormenta FC 3, Foro SC 2, Inter Miami 2-0, the Miami FC 1.
That's right.
Charlotte Independence 2, Carolina Core 1, Monterey Bay FC 1, El Federalito 2. Let's do it. AV Alta 2, LAFC 2 1, Portland Hearts of Pine 1, Hartford Athletic 1. That's right. That's how it ended in regular time, then extra time, and then in penalties, Hearts advanced 4-2. So there you go on that. Loudoun United 4, Virginia Dream 2. The dream for Virginia Dream ends. You're welcome. Josh, you want to take out the rest?
Absolutely. Greenville Triumph SC 1, One Knox SC 3, Chattanooga FC 1, Eastridge. Red Wolves 1. Red Wolves advanced 5-4 through penalties after added on extra time, though. Dan, I know we want to get to some of the results that tickled our fancy, but what do you think on the attempt to plant the flag?
Yeah, for those that missed it at the end of this game, and maybe I can edit it into the video if you're watching the video of this. Maybe go find the video, dig it out, and toss it in right now. I just imagine that I didn't say any of that, and instead it's just playing. In that, or if you're just listening to the podcast, imagine it with you, if you will. After the game, there were some Red Wolves fans that breached the field and ran to the center of the turf field to plant the flag through it. Probably not a great idea to do on a turf field. I don't know if they ever got to the point of planting it because I know that they were disrupted by some Chattanooga FC people. What do I think of it? I'm mixed. Part of me loves it and part of me hates it. Yeah. I think it's always a bad idea to storm the field. I also get when you get excited. I totally understand that. I also understand from CFC's perspective, they don't want that, and I don't blame them. And there's damage that if that damage happens to that turf, they're the ones that are gonna have to cover that too. So I guess I'm mixed. What about you?
I didn't even know it was turf, so that's another reason why I don't like it. And it also gives context to what maybe they were saying to the player running with the flag. Hey, man. This is turf. It could cost us $10,000 to fix this hole you poke in our turf. Right. Maybe less. I don't know. But and I just felt like even if it was grass and he successfully planted it, what I didn't like also, and this is one of the rare criticisms I've had of USL in the last few years, the USL League One website or social media handle shared that attempt, and I felt like, I get it. You want to boost the rivalry, but that one's a very sensitive rivalry. So maybe just lay off of that one.
And also, let's be 100% real. If you ask USL League One, like the people in charge, do they want fans running onto the field after a match? They're going to tell you no.
Right. It's a security issue.
100%. And I do get that it still happens. And I'm not saying that there's not maybe a place when you kind of wink at the rules there. But in a rivalry match, I think those players don't know what you're doing on the field.
Right.
They see people running. I don't know. And again, damage to property. Yeah, I think it's generally a bad idea.
Maybe we're just a couple old curmudgeons, Dan Vaughn.
To say we sound like two old men. I don't know about the property.
I don't know. Property damage.
Gonna pay for
Hey, it raises all of our insurance.
that.
Westchester SC 3, New York Pancyprian Freedoms 2, FC Naples 3, Little Rock Rangers 0. Sorry, Ryan.
Sad vibes.
Ford Madison 1, FC Tulsa 3, Des Moines Menace 1, Union Omaha 2, Tacoma Defiance 2, Spokane Velocity 1. Sorry, Benji. Ventura County FC 0, El Paso Locomotive 3.
Look at El Paso Locomotive. I love how for the first 6 years of their existence, no Open Cup wins. Don't get me wrong, 2 of those were canceled thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
But now they've got 2 in this one. Come on. Love that.
Of these games that I read out, do any other games other than that Chattanooga, do they stand out to you?
Well, I think that we're on the lower league side, right? So it bums me out. The Penn Cyprian bails out here.
Yeah.
It happens. Maybe you should have expected it. It also bums me out that Des Moines Menace is out because
That was a fun story.
that was a fun story. That they've been fun the last couple of years, adding those ex-MLS players. There's a lot of excitement around that, and it's fun. And honestly, those guys have elevated Des Moines Menace. You know, Sasha's on TV and so is, I think, Bradley Wright Phillips, actually. And they're talking about playing for this team. It's a great boost for this little tiny amateur club from Des Moines. I think it's a big deal. It's a shame that they're out, but it does happen. And yeah, I mean, I'm pumped that El Paso won. But yeah, they're a championship team, but I want them to succeed, take it seriously, and shine.
Yeah, I was a little bummed out to see the Velocity go down to Tacoma Defiance. I know I don't get in too much. I don't get too much into downplaying Major League Soccer next pro teams. I try not to, but it would have been nice to see Spokane for the. I mean, they knocked out Ballard. It wasn't have been, but it didn't happen. So that one was a bummer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always going to be rooting for that lower league team. Sad to see Foro go out in the list that I read, obviously. But on the other hand, El Federalito advances.
What a great story! Did you catch that game?
I did not. I do know that I think they went down first and then came back and scored 2 different goals.
I mean, Monterey had complete control of that, dominating possession,
as they should.
Banging shots off the crossbar, saves off the line basically El Farolito did everything they possibly had to do to hang into this one. It was like a true game of bravery and survival. And in the end, I mean, they pull off the win in regular time. And they get that win on the road at Monterey. And I'd say another exciting game that I caught was Avialta 2, LAFC 1. That one did go to add on extra time, and Avialta got the win in the 19th, 120th minute off a corner kick. It was wild, kind of deflected off ahead and then banged off the bar, and then was saved, and then was put back into the net. And listen, that game, the Portland Hearts of Pine game, El Farolito, for however many people maybe made it out to Cardinal Stadium in Seaside, California. But the crowds, especially the home crowds in Portland and in Lancaster, California, went wild. And so I am tired of hearing how nobody cares from the teams way, in the first division teams. Nobody cares. Suck it. They care.
I think oftentimes they're seeing it from their perspective, and
right.
It's easy to poo-poo a tournament that I guess only one team will eventually win. And so you make fun of it, you downplay it. It's a shame because it could be something fun that everyone could enjoy. And instead it only feels like lower league clubs celebrate it. I could think of that Sacramento run 2 years ago when they made it to the final. Oh man, who didn't? So exciting. And if you're telling me that people weren't fired up for that tournament, I mean, it was really fun. But yeah, well, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, there are round 3 matchups now scheduled, and it's going to be fun because now we've got All the MLS teams join in the fourth round. That's coming up very soon. I think that there's a lot of reasons to be excited about potentially MLS 2 teams getting knocked out. I'm a terrible person. But I know it's just the way I think. I just want them to be gone. But the rest of the USL Championship sides are coming in now. Obviously, it's weird to me, I guess, that El Paso Locomotive has already played 2 matches and they're a championship side, and they'll be going into round 3 against potentially there'll be USL Championship sides here that haven't played any yet.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting how they balance that out. But it is what it is.
Based off their finish from the regular season last year, right?
No wonder Locomotive went there because they were trash. You want to go through the first half of the list?
Yeah, I can do that. So here are the games in round 3. And by the way, keep your eyes open for our big preview that's going to come out next week. That's probably a bullet point later on our run out, but it's fine. I just wanted to pump that up. So we got Columbus Crew 2. They're one of the MLS Next Pro teams that survived. They're they're hosting Pittsburgh Riverhounds in a battle of the black and yellow. Lou City FC, the boys in purple, that's what they call them. They take on Loudoun United, and Loudoun have been in great form. They're a team that is historically sort of finished at the nether regions of their conference and their lower regions of their conference. However you want to think of that. And maybe that's right. Maybe that is right. Anyway, Loudoun's in great form right now. That could be a really fun matchup to watch. Charlotte Independence is hosting North Carolina FC. That's another USL champion. Oh no, that's USL League One versus Championship. That should be a good one. They were 2 League One rivals a couple years ago. Portland Hearts of Pine are hosting Rhode Island FC. This one is one that I would circle if I were you. This is a big deal. Portland Hearts of Pine knocked out Hartford Athletic. They're on a little run for a brand new team that's done a really great job of marketing itself. Beautiful jerseys, great ownership. They've done a really good job of getting the entire community behind them. That will be a really fun game. Charleston Battery are hosting Tormenta FC. Union Omaha, they were on a really good Open Cup run a couple years ago too. Little sweethearts. They're hosting San Antonio. San Antonio has been in great form at the top of the West, so that should be a good competition. AV Alta FC versus Orange County SC. Orange County, they started off good in championship, but they've dipped in form the last couple of weeks. And AV Alta at home in Lancaster, in that stadium that has been repurposed for soccer, looks great. That might be a cup set. And Tacoma Defiance are hosting Oakland Roots SC. Now, you would typically think Oakland Roots would be the bigger team here, but they have stunk it up. They're they're one of the worst teams in the championship, and I'm not quite sure they can go up to Tukwila, Washington, and pull this off. They might be in trouble.
That's a shame. Friends of the pod, Oakland Roots. We've always had a good relationship with the front office. On my side of the list, FC Naples versus Tampa Bay Rowdies, the Florida battle. I like this matchup. Detroit City versus Westchester SC. Playing in Keyworth. You love to see it. Enjoy it while you can, people. We got another season of that, and then off to their new stadium that's coming. Indy 11 versus the Miami FC. Do they call themselves that, or is that just something that you put in the notes?
It's not me. I've adopted it on from social media, so I don't know if they call themselves that or.
Obviously the U calls themselves like.
I think they inherited that from their social media followers, and I've just sort of adopted it.
Why not? Let's do it. FC Tulsa versus Phoenix Rising FC. Colorado Springs Switchbacks versus One Knox. New Mexico. This is the matchup I'm obviously looking forward to. New Mexico United versus El Paso Locomotive. This has been a rivalry since New Mexico United entered championship. It's a match that they always look forward to. They love this one on both sides. It's super fun. New Mexico United has a great home field. Was out there last season to see that. I know it's a baseball stadium, but
watch the video.
Watch our video. Very true. Go to our YouTube channel, Protagonist Soccer YouTube. You can check out our Away Days episode there. It's fun stuff. And the club that we've mentioned earlier, El Farolito, will be headed to Sacramento, take on Sac Republic. That is a tall order for El Farolito.
Circle that, though. Circle that.
But why not? Why not? Absolutely. And then Las Vegas Lights versus the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Yeah, the other
I don't know
Chattanooga
what
team.
you're gonna get.
Maybe they'll plant a flag. Maybe they'll plant a flag in Las Vegas. Who
Oh,
knows?
yeah, good luck.
Um,
It'd be a gamble.
But definitely keep an eye out for, as Josh mentioned, that big preview that we're working on. We've brought in a bunch of writers. We always contribute people with, rooting interests or people with, a particular specialty in a particular club. Josh is great at gathering those writers together to do these awesome previews. It's really one of the best things that we do on our site when it comes to these big Open Cup rounds. He just finds cool
Thanks,
people
Dan.
to talk about that. Absolutely. And I'll be talking about that locomotive match against New Mexico United
Absolutely.
100%. So do keep an eye out for that. Yeah, protagonistsoccer.com. Everything that we talk about here usually shows up in an article or two on that website as well. But speaking of championship, I will quick plug here. This evening, as we're recording this on a Thursday night, I made an appearance on Jason Davis's evening show, the Best Soccer Show, if I remember that correctly, and got a chance to. He brought me on as a lower league specialist, I guess, to talk about the USL Championship TV numbers on CBS, and we're going to do a little bit of rehash of some of that information for those of you that may not be aware of it. But it's just the basics. But the San Antonio FC match versus Phoenix Rising, which was broadcast on April 6th on CBS proper. And I always think it's important, a lot of times when you see these TV deals, what you're actually seeing is they're showing up on the secondary channel or on a streaming platform. And those are just as important, obviously. But when you get a chance for the big platform, you want an opportunity, you want to shine, obviously. And that San Antonio FC versus Phoenix Rising drew 444,000 viewers with a peak of 760,000 viewers, making it the most watched match in USL League history on CBS. Now you might say, yeah, but it's a short history. I get that. That's fine. But hey, but they're showing growth. And in fact, in the press release that came out for this, they talked about some previous matches. Louisville Indy from April 6th, actually a year ago in 2024, 362,000. Detroit versus Rhode Island on August 3rd, 320,000. And then the 2024 USL Championship final, which took place on November 23rd of 2024, had 431,000. So this actually outdrew the Cup final from last year for USL Championship. Now, a lot of times when you hear numbers like this, it's hard to get an idea of what the context is. What does it actually mean? What are these numbers like? If you just hear 444,000, seems like a lot of people. I don't really know, though. To compare, the 2024 MLS Cup final, which was broadcast on Fox and Fox Deportes, LA Galaxy versus New York Red Bulls drew 468,000 viewers. So we're talking about something that's in the general ballpark of the MLS final on their broadcast. Now, I will point out, and I think it's important to point out, that while you would think Red Bulls would draw pretty well on TV because of their market, don't forget that they do play in New Jersey, and so there may be some aspects of that might limit how much they're tapping into that New York market. In the 2023 MLS Cup final, Columbus Crew played LAFC. If you'll remember, LAFC had a lot of stars on their team. I remember my French boyfriend, Olivier Giroud. But that was on Fox Deportes, and that drew almost 900,000.
That was a big one.
Yeah. So again, I know that we can snapshot last year's Cup final and say, well, look, USL Championship struck, and I get that.
It depends on the teams that are involved in the players.
100%. And actually, that's something that I talked about on the Best Soccer Show. I talked a little bit about how I feel like the fandoms in USL Championship they're less tribal than they are in MLS. And it's not to say that people aren't fans of their teams. They are, but I think that the average USL fan will tune in for a USL Championship even if their team isn't playing.
They'll watch a couple of games if they're on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think with MLS, you tend to watch your team, and that's who you watch. And so that's why the LAFC match probably drew pretty well, because that's a team that has a lot of following in LA. I get it. So anyway, I guess my ask is, Josh, what do you think of this? What does it mean?
I mean, the growth of second division viewership is fantastic. I think the deal they struck with CBS last offseason, not this most recent, but the previous offseason when they announced that. I think we were kind of questioning how that would look, how that would play out. And there have been some really good components of it. I've really enjoyed being able to access USL Championship, USL League One on CBS Golazo. One of the problems I have had, however, is replayability. Maybe it's because I'm a numpty and I'm not quite sure how to access a replay of a game on CBS Golazo. Thing is, like, my the English league system, so English League, English Championship, League Two, League One, whatever, that's all replayable.
Sure.
But I can't figure out how to replay some of the games USL games and I do, we do 2 podcasts about this. Sometimes I miss them. All of the ESPN games, however, are completely replayable, easy to access. You can have it on your smart TV or on your phone. So maybe I'm missing something because I subscribe to CBS Golazo through Paramount Plus. My Paramount Plus subscription is through Amazon, and my Amazon is through my Roku. So maybe somewhere in all that interpretation, I'm missing a button.
Yeah.
But they should make it obvious.
I agree with you. I think there are going to be some limitations. I've been really a big fan of the USL Super League's deal with Peacock. Again, talk about replayability and the ability to find the matches, and
it looks good too.
It does look good, and I think that, but there are some limitations. There's not a lot of public broadcasts. It's behind effectively a paywall. You have to have Peacock. I get and certainly there are fans and critics of the MLS deal with Apple.
Sure.
In the end, if you don't have Apple TV, you're not watching MLS.
You know, and even if they make Apple TV free for a month, you can grab a couple MLS games, right? Mm-hmm. But ultimately, in the long run, you're going to have to pay for that. And then when the subscription, even though if you get it for free, it renews at like $80 a season or something like that. So you actually have to make sure you cancel it before it charges you for the renewal. That's kind of a pain in the butt too.
Yeah, I mean, anyone watching MLS deserves to pay an $80 tax. I just play it.
Yeah.
What am I being?
A single entity floats all boats.
Honestly, it's all one boat. Let's stop. There are no other boats. We're swapping the rest. But anyway, good news at least on the USL Championship front. And let's 100% remember, this is a Division II league. As much as we like it, it's a Division II league. They're going to be launching Division I soon. Yeah, and who knows how that might affect it, or how promotion relegation. Can you imagine a CBS like throw around show at the very end of a season? Maybe there's a battle going to prevent relegation or for promotion, and maybe you got a League One match on there. Yeah, kind of cool. I mean, there's certainly possibilities where CBS could leverage what's going on in the USL system in a way to bring in more views. I think that there's a lot of possibilities here, but you're right. Accessibility is pretty
do
important.
Both. Put it on the network and play it on the streaming as well. Give it to me straight in my veins, but share it with everybody else.
I will give it to you. Let's give them the match of the week preview. I'm going to the USL Super League, where Spokane Zephyr host Dallas Trinity. This game is exciting for a variety of reasons. It's not just simple. If you look at the standings, yes, Trinity is the top spot in the league, and Spokane Zephyr is, I think, 6th in the league right now. But Spokane Zephyr has shown a lot of fire. They did some changes to their lineup, and they are a much more dangerous team. And this is why I love it. They're playing spoiler mode. Maybe they're not going to make the playoffs. There is still an outside chance that they could, but what they can do is just bleed points off the front runners, and I absolutely love that. I also love Amina Ekic, their winger. I absolutely love this player. She plays for the national team of I want to say Serbia. Oh man,
she's an international.
She is, absolutely. She's a heck of a player. I'm going to look this up as I'll tell you what. I'll look it up while you give your preview. But she is absolutely fun to watch. Her crossing is so dangerous. She's also just dangerous anywhere from the field. She could put a ball on target. I absolutely love her. I mean, she's my favorite. Talked to her before the season started. She's a good interview too. But she leads that Spokane attack. But Trinity's roster is one of the best in the women's game. There is so much to love about this game. I'll be watching it on Peacock.
Yeah, isn't Cameron Lancaster also on that Trinity team? She's been fantastic as well. So that's a game I'm also looking forward to. You mentioned it, so I'm getting excited for you. My game of the week, the San Francisco Soccer Football League, founded in 1902, restructured in 1916, I believe, but it's the oldest American soccer league in continuous existence. Other leagues may challenge that as a fact, but that's what's up on their website. The currently the Olympic Club, 14-time champions of the San Francisco Soccer Football League, are top of the table and play the San Francisco Glens, a team we know, we're familiar with, and we like, at the Beach Chalet Soccer Fields, which overlook the Pacific Ocean, at lunchtime on Sunday. Honestly, if I could live anywhere in the world other than, wine country in Oregon, which is great, it would be San Francisco. We visited it last summer. It's a lovely city if you can afford to live there. And I would be at the Beach Chalet Soccer Fields every weekend with an Anchor Steam and a brown paper bag to watch soccer. Beautiful.
I do love an Anchor Steam. By the way, Bosnia-Herzegovina.
That's it. Yeah.
Not Serbia. My apologies, Miss Ekic. There you go. Also, played at least one match for the U23 U.S. team before declaring for Bosnia-Herzegovina. I'll tell you, probably a good idea, just given the competition for wing play in the United States squad.
Yeah.
There you go. Joshua Duder, you ready to go off topic?
Yes.
That's the kind of fire that I am looking for out of you. Yes.
Yes.
Give it to me, Duder.
The P1A is a specialty U.S. visa that only athletes, entertainers, and their coaches and staff are eligible for. To be clear, there has been no law passed or executive order signed that currently impacts those. However, there are 43 countries impacted by Trump's ban list, 10 with full visa suspensions, 10 with partial visa suspensions, 26 with probationary periods. Add that to ICE deporting anybody who looks like they don't belong. This may be bad for business with professional soccer teams or even whole countries coming for the World Cup.
Wow. Well done.
Poof. That was a lot of talking.
I like it, Mr. Duder. I like it very much. I don't like the issues with the visas, though. I will be honest in saying that.
There's more, but I couldn't fit it all in 30 seconds.
That's what happens. You need a 45-second off topic. There we go. Well, it's my turn to talk, and let me get to it. I don't want to sound like an old man here. Sometimes the cost of things isn't right. I remember when you could buy a soccer kit for $50. I can remember when some clubs would sell them for $45. It's how I filled up the closet that I posted pictures on Blue Sky today of. You can't do that anymore. Now, even the smallest soccer clubs are asking for $100, $110, $130. It's not sustainable, people. And I think, honestly, it bleeds the people who love your club the most.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Mr. Duder?
That having been said, I did pick up a double extra large kit from Providence FC. It was on sale. It's like a 2-year-old shirt. Got last one, I think.
You can't
beat $20. Can't
beat Providence City. Absolutely. No. Well, Joshua Duder, that is it for this episode of the Protagonist Show. Hope you had a good one, sir.
Yeah, I did. I'll see you next week.
I did too. I will see you next week. We'll get it done. And thank you, listener, for listening. If you haven't checked out our Patreon, please do. Patreon.com/Protagonist Soccer. It's how we fund everything that we do. It's how we pay for technology like recording shows and video, how we pay for web hosting, and how we pay for the things that we've made for YouTube. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we're dropping cash on, and it's been really based on the help that we get from you all, from our supporters. Thank you so much for that. Have a good one. We're out.